Right. Do you want to start off by introducing yourself?
When I can. My name is Erin Rose, and I am the Raiders sports therapist. Um, yeah, I think that's what I do. Try and do.
Try and do that.
I know what I try and do.
Try.
Still here, haven't retired.
I was going to say, how many times have you retired now?
Well, to be fair, two. So Sean Easton, he brought me out of retirement to come and help Raiders because they were in a bit of a pickle. And that was like, I don't know what, five years ago. Yeah, God, yeah, it's my fifth season. And yeah, they're a great bunch, so it's hard not to retire, really. And then yeah, so obviously I did retire to go and watch my son, really, because I thought, well, it's his last 2 years of juniors, and then he went to Nashville and we'd sold our house. The house I'm sitting in is 10 minutes from his old school. I'd like to point this out. And so we found this house and we thought, okay, it's a bit of a wreck, but it'll work. He goes off to Nashville with NHA because NHA have like scouted him from like the year before and wanted to take him, and I was like, yeah, crack on, goes. He was away for about 5 weeks, and then year while he was out there, he kind of gets the offer from the academy that took him. They want him for like a couple of years, so yeah, he buggers off. I'm here. So yeah, then I thought, well, I'll just play loads of golf and get down to like a mid single figure, and crack on a bit. And then football offer came in, and then Raiders didn't have anyone. I think it was a week before the season started. So yeah, hi,
She's back.
sloping on.
I mean, everyone knew you'd be back at some point.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe not like a couple of months later, but
I
everyone
know,
knew
I know.
you'd
It
be
was
back.
quite. It was four
No.
months, and I think all the boys genuinely thought I'd like jack them to go to football, and I'm like, no, no, seriously, I actually didn't. I kind of like stepped down in the May, and I was quite happy, and I was going to watch my kid, and then he goes away in June, and football I think came in. I think it was into July because I knew the GM from when I was at Dynamos. I've known like Lee for like 15 plus years, and they wanted me a couple of seasons ago, but I'd already like signed for Raiders, so I was like, once you commit, right? But then I didn't not want them to have anybody because you just think, well, A, it goes against everything that I've been spouting on about for 2 years about player safety, and B, they're a really good bunch. Like, they're really good fun. So they make you laugh most weeks. You'll find something to laugh about. You'll probably see me like my shoulders going on the bench, and that's the D actually. The D are actually quite a funny bunch. Usually Coops and Dewey, between them two, they're hilarious. Maybe Jarrett.
Maybe Jarrett.
Maybe Jarrett.
Maybe.
It's quite funny. I just laugh. I miss Millsy though. Millsy was cool, so I do miss him. So, but yeah, they're a good bunch. I have to say, they're very, very sweet, and it was an easy decision to come back, so makes it easier.
We're glad you're back.
Yeah. My mum knew you wouldn't be staying away, right? As soon as we found out that Matty was going abroad, we was like, oh, Erin will be back.
Well, to be fair, it kind of made the most logical thing. To be fair, because I just thought, well, I mean, I was quite looking forward to playing lots of golf. Truth be told, I mean, all I got for Christmas was fat, and all I keep doing is eating drinks. So, like, I needed to do something. At least I don't have to do away trips, though. I mean, that's one thing I'm sad
Yeah.
I'm not doing this year. I'm not doing the bussy trips, which are quite fun. But yeah, because I'm with footy, but I've got a plethora of therapists that help us out.
First discover hockey. Was it
Oh God,
through yourself or
years ago.
Matty or
Oh God, years ago. I was 10, so I mean that's way probably before mobile phones. So yeah, I was 10, and I went to see the Medway Bears with my late dad. So we used to go every Sunday. It was like our little thing. It was really cool.
oh.
Just walk along because my mum and my late dad used to live literally 2 minutes around the corner. So we used to walk through to watch the Medway Bears, and then later my brother started playing. He played for Dynamos, which is how I got involved in hockey. Because they needed someone to come and help them out, and then that's basically how I got involved. And I never really left. I think I went for a game because I used to fix all his teammates, and then went for a game to help them out, and they wouldn't let me leave. And then yeah, that was like, I don't know, 16 years ago. So
That seems to be your thing. People don't let you leave.
no, I do try, like, but yeah, they just kind of cling on to me. But yeah, do you know what? I think if you work in it, it's really difficult, I think, for the fans to kind of get how addictive hockey can be, especially when you're in that kind of like the clique of the team and everything. I mean, I don't know anything really that goes on behind the scenes. I just do my bit, and I have a bit of a privilege of knowing a few things like on game day and stuff, but I'm kind of way out of it with regards to sort of like what Sean and Baz and Paul and that have to sort out. But I think, yeah, you're in a very privileged position when you get to work with a sports team. I think you get to like know the individual players and kind of see them on a different level than the fans get. So, and it is quite addictive, really. It's an addictive old adrenaline rush. And it is good fun. Like, you spend most weekends belly laughing at someone or something. Someone's outburst. Or when we play Hull. That's always quite fun.
You know, they only give 4 man of the match beers to go between all of the boys.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And Basingstoke gave a bag of coffee beans.
what? Why would you give coffee beans? What a most ridiculous. I
Yeah.
can my husband getting in the door, and you think, have I left the keys in the door so he can't get in? But he's in. So he's just making
banging on the door.
wave. Yeah, no, so totally mad. So it is very, very cool what we get to do. John is in. He might say, oh no, he's run straight through to the kitchen, so he hasn't said hello. He's very antisocial. Do apologise. So yeah, so that's it really. It is quite cool. Very hard to retire. And yeah, as I said, they're a good bunch. So it's kind of hard to leave them, really. I've worked with a lot of the guys, so they're very sweet.
You've kind of covered like 2 of the questions, so we'll skip past those.
Oh, we're flying! Look at this.
We've got lots of questions, don't worry.
Oh no, that's fine. I like lots of questions. That's okay.
For those who don't know, what does a match night look like for you as a team sports therapist?
Well, it depends on how many injuries we've got and how many fights we've had the night before. So usually I'll get there. I've got an intern this year, I had an intern last year in Bales actually. So the last couple of years I've been really, really lucky. I have a colleague. So this time of year you do get lots of injuries. A lot of the guys are carrying stuff that a lot of people don't know about. I do get a bit grumpy when people start calling players out, and I'm like, if only you knew half of what was going on. Like, you don't know what they're playing through.
Yeah.
Playoff weekend, I know when we went to Cov, I can't really remember anyone that I didn't tape up or gave paracetamol to. That gives you an idea of how brutal we do. So game day, I normally get there 3:30. So we'll get there, we'll set a couple of beds up, start going through sort of like any niggles, probably from the night before, because I'm not doing away games. So we'd go through anything from the night before, we'll have a handover. Any concussion tests that we might have to do, that becomes of importance. So that's like first priority. And then, yeah, any strappings and tapings, which we have to do. So we have quite a few of those at the moment, to be honest. Our tape bill's probably quite meaty, which is lovely. And then, yeah, sort of any massage, that sort of stuff, niggles, whatnot, just to get them out on the ice for warm-up, monitor them through warm-up, see if anything happens. Usually something does. Someone will get hit with something. I think Mikey got hit with a puck the other week, and I thought all was well, and I went off to get like a Starbucks. I was like, brilliant, go and get a coffee. I haven't eaten. Come straight here. And then, yeah, you end up with a bit of an issue. So, yeah, make sure they're okay, and then prep them for the game, and then basically, yeah, just try and limp them through an ice hockey game, to be honest. So, and it's kind of, a lot of people think you just stand there, but you don't. You're kind of like, right, okay, monitoring like hydration levels, making sure they've got this, obviously pain relief, I don't deal with that. I just leave the bag open. They're adults. They can kind of go and take what they like, But yeah, it's kind of like trying to watch, kind of not what only is the puck doing, but you kind of learn to see what other stuff is going on in like your BDI. You sort of do a bit of a side eye. So yeah, you're constantly like scanning the ice, trying to work out injuries and stuff. And then, yeah, sometimes I do make an appearance on the ice when someone goes down, which I don't always like doing, really, because they have a good habit, my lot, of running you out there at warp speed, which I'm quite quick at my old age. I can still run. And then they leave you there. Then you have
to laugh sometimes.
Which
the
I'm
other end, you get pushed out there, and then you're just walking back like, all right, lads, thanks.
You, which is always nice. I remember Cov, they did that. They ran me out for Ralphie, and Coventry's massive. And the ice is really hard as well. And I thought I blew a tyre a couple of times on my grips. Like, ooh, last thing you want to go down on your arse in front of 5,000 people. So it's not fun. But yeah, it's a bit chaotic actually. It is a bit mad. So yeah, it's quite nice that I've got a bit of help, especially this time of year because yeah, most guys are carrying knocks and stuff, and 9 times out of 10, unless it's really serious, they have to kind of like play through it, which is you know part and parcel really of hockey. It's pretty rubbish unless it's kind of like your impending surgery, or it's kind of sideline you, or it's a concussions. I don't tend to obviously let you carry on, but yeah, apart from that, it's a bit mad really. Way different to football.
Well, that kind of answers the next question. Is there such thing as a quiet night for you?
No, like no, not really. No,
You're always doing
especially coming
something
out
or watching.
February. I mean, occasionally you do get the odd. I sit there and I'm like, oh, I've had a quiet night tonight. I can guarantee you, when I've said that, we've had a major incident on the ice or something, or we'll have something to deal with. So I tend to I've like learned over the years just to be like, just don't say anything.
I was going to say, is quiet like the fans' version of shut out? Like you don't say it.
No. No, you don't actually know where I'm going. I'm like, seriously, like people that used to say that, and I'd be like, used to give them like the death stare, like, what are you doing? And then Matt will have a go on him, and I'm like, it's your fault, bad you. So yeah, don't ever think that just because I look like it's a quiet night, there's a lot more going on that people think. Especially because you're kind of scanning you guys on the bench, making sure that the knock's all right, liaising with the coaches. So East and obviously Baz and Paul, the owners, with like medical supplies and injuries and any scans, MRIs, any diagnostics that are needed. So yeah, it is. It's it's a little bit more full on than standing there and I don't know, laughing at the D-men's jokes.
That's 5 minutes of your night, not.
Yeah, that's a brief moment to be fair. But yeah, it's good fun. I quite like it when it is busy because it gives you something to get on with. But I quite also like it, and my favourite nights are when it has been a quiet night and we don't have any other issues bar what we started the game with. That's always quite a nice evening, to be honest. You can't.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a quick sidetrack. How do you deal with the smell of the players?
Get used to it. Like you genuinely get used to it. You become immune. Like I come home and the amount of times my husband's like used to it. Like genuinely, you do. You're in the changing room.
Sticks to you.
25 kits and they do everyone. It's just hockey smell. Like my son's a goalie. His kit absolutely reeks. And it's a bit of a funk that you can't really describe to fans or say for the new fans out there. I'm trying to think what.
The closest thing I can describe it to is cat pee.
Yeah, like the worst pair. I've got golf shoes that do smell similar, and it was really quite funny actually. It is like cat pee, and cat pee, and I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. Like because goalie gloves and gloves are they're a certain smell, which is why I put my rally gloves on for the handshake. Because I'm not getting 40 pairs of that.
Oh,
it's minging. Sometimes I like double up. So yeah, it's a certain smell, it's a certain funk, and it was really good. I always remember when Matty started, and he was like 9, and they don't smell at that age. It's all nice. They smell of flowers and petals, and then puberty hits, and I always remember my husband like coming home going like, I was like, you'll get used to it.
Yeah,
you do become quite immune to it. To be honest, I think the first training session or game, I always remember like when I used to do training, like your first one back, the water just hits you, and you're like, oh. But yeah, you just get used to it. It's part of the pack.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you don't realise that it's a bit like having a horse and you go home mucking out like smelly stables, and you funny enough do come home smelling like that. So yeah, I do come home stinking of a hockey team most weekends. So there you go. Sorry, hubby.
is there any major differences between the Romford Raiders and then the football club that you?
Massive, so different. Funny enough, I did actually say to them at the weekend because football can get a bit like there's quite a few differences actually. Hockeyer in the terms of all the medical staff, way friendlier. Like a lot of them are my mates. I know I can send a message like beforehand and be like, "Can you cover my guys?" Because obviously my intern is driving or whatever. And we're all like look after each other's players. Football's very different. the fizz on the other team or sports therapist doesn't necessarily always come and find you, doesn't always talk to you, which I find bizarre because I just think, well, if you've got a spinal and you're going in Mills, you're going to need my help anyway. Mills is manual inline stabilisation for those that don't know what you mean when you take someone's head. So yeah, it's very, very odd. And the injuries are a bit different. You don't get so many cuts as you do in hockey, although we did have one the other day on an ankle that was quite bad. That needed quite a few stitches. And I was kind of like rubbing my hands with excitement had I not suspected there was a bit of a broken leg. So I was a bit gutted.
Oh.
Training. So yeah, so that's one of the big differences is how like the medical staff treat each other. Some are really friendly, I have to say, but a good chunk aren't, whereas hockey, everybody's pretty cool. And then, yeah, I always find it quite shouty, really. Like, it's just beat the shit out of each other for half an hour or something, or 10 minutes, have a bench clearance, and then you'll be fine. Just get it out of the way. And then, because you get all this sort of like knocking and barging and stuff, whereas in hockey, you kind of sort that out. Whereas in football, I don't know, you just don't, and the injuries are way different, like massively different. And it's a different game. You can't, it's like apples and pears, like, the hockey guys are doing balls out 30 to a minute shifts. Football, they're out there for the period and they're constantly running, so you get a lot more fatigue, a lot more cramping going on. Whereas obviously hockey, you don't. You get the short bursts and the big hits and stuff. And yeah, so it is a bit different, polar opposite. So and yeah, all the guys at football can't quite fathom that the guys at Raiders will play on a Saturday and then they play on a Sunday. Which I was trying to explain to them on Jersey because we'd all been out on the beer. Not that Raiders do this, fans. Trying to get it over the differences in sport because I was like, well, my lot would have to play today. And they were horrified. They were like, wait, what? I went, yeah, this is why you don't go out and get absolutely leathered on a double header because, you know, you gotta play the next day. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know if they do that. I go to bed. Never known. Never rat out your teammates. Right.
How do you cope being with both teams?
Do you know what? I think at the end of the day, football's a Saturday, it's a Tuesday, so it doesn't really impact on hockey that much. I mean, hockey sometimes a Wednesday or a Friday, so I can jump in and help. And then the home games are on a Sunday. And yeah, we've got a plethora of people, which basically are my mates up and down the country that have come in to kind of cover the guys on a Saturday when I'm not around. So there's some certain people I'll be doing a nice little thank you at the end of the season because they have helped us out massively this season. And we've had some really good guys that have come on and helped us out. So yeah, so it does help. So yeah, juggling, it's been a bit stressful trying to get cover. And making sure that they're okay. But I think, yeah, we're done until the end of March now. So obviously,
that's good.
Once we know what's going on there, then we'll work on the cover for that. But yeah, everything's covered until the end of March. So I don't stress out so much because I know who's doing what.
That's good. I like that. I like that you can rely on people.
Well, yeah, and you need to make sure that they got cover, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a case of something I championed for 2 years ago initially, and it was a case of like, you know, teams should have medical staff and they should have sports therapists or physios or rehabbers with a good level of first aid. And yeah, I wouldn't want to leave them guys without anybody because they're a good bunch.
No.
I'll never leave them short.
Does being a hockey mum affect the way you approach treating players?
No, I'm just mean. I mean, sometimes I think you get a bit of empathy, you know, because some of the guys are quite young, you know, so you get that like mother hen instinct that you try and look after your players, especially when and a lot of them are only in their 20s, you know, so they're technically like kids, especially to me. So you do try and look after them and make sure that they're okay and mentally that they're all right, you know. So yeah, I suppose you get that mother instinct. Matt will tell you I don't have that, and when it comes to being injured, I'm quite mean. And he does get the tough love. If anything, probably the Raiders boys get more affection when they're injured than my own kid. So yeah, because I'm quite hard. But yeah, I suppose there are benefits to having a kid in hockey. You kind of understand it and stuff, but probably Matt gets the raw end of the deal, really. Sit on with it. Get back in the net. You're fine.
You're fine.
You got another hand.
You can catch and block with this one.
Just do this. You'll be fine. But yeah. So yeah, I suppose, yeah, you get a little bit of an empathy, and you kind of care about your players. I think I've always kind of like had that really, because you got, at the end of the day, you're a team, right? So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always try and jump to their aid if people are being a bit mean and unnecessary. And it's not me being an arse. It's just a case of like, look, you're just being a bit unfair. These are human beings at the end of the day. Their feelings of mental health as much as the rest of us, and a lot of people don't know what people are carrying injury wise. So sometimes I'm like, you're being a bit out of order. So I think that's when the mum instinct kicks in more than anything. When I see something
Yeah.
fairly written, and I'm like, oh come on, he's like the nicest guy in the world. Why are you being so mean?
What is the worst injury you've seen?
Oh, there's a few. Had quite a few spinals over the years. So spinals are never nice to deal with. Um, Especially when the worst thing is when you've got a player that's gone down, and then you kind of you go through certain protocols, and when they say they've got neck pain, and then you start like going through your screening, and you're like, oh great, so you've got to get from on the board. So they're not very nice to deal with. Um, so I remember doing like England, and we had quite a few injuries. I remember having a broken wrist that we had to like traction a little bit, and putting a splint on Entonox and getting to A&E. Yeah, there was a couple of spinals there with a broken collarbone. So that was the more like the kids. For seniors, yeah, probably spinals are the worst. Had a wrist laceration that I've had to deal with using one of my own kits. That was an interesting one. But you just get on with it, really. A few players to stitch. Quite like a bit of sewing. Yeah, I do quite like a bit of people sewing. Or one player.
People sewing.
No, I do. It's called people sewing. It's a funny story about it, actually, and I remember, God, it was quite a few years ago, and I remember, I don't know if Blythe was with us, but Sean definitely was. And I remember going to Leeds, and it's when they had this player called Grant Cooper, and I think Ethan had cleared the park, and it literally split his chin, like massive. So Leeds are like shouting, "Can anyone stitch?" And I think it was Wellesley was like, "Well, Erin can sew," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Where?" So I just like, because morally it's the right thing to do, because I know like Shirley at Steel Dogs would have done the same, and you tend to like patch up your players if it's patch upable. And on this occasion it was. So I remember going in and being made a cup of tea and being fed lots of biscuits by the Leeds team. They're very sweet. They're my second favourite team. And I remember obviously stitching up Grant after cleaning it all out because it was horrendous. And I won't say what he'd done to try and plug the wound, but it was disgusting. So we did all that, and unbeknownst to me, he was their top goal scorer. I didn't really know. So yeah, he went out, and I think we were like 6-0 down on like the first period or the second period, and yeah, he came out and scored like 3 more goals. And I always remember it was like being on The Voice because the whole bench just turned around to stare at me.
What have you done? Why did you
All
fix
just like
it?
looked at me like. So yeah, so that was up there. That was probably more on the hilarity stakes though, of like worse injuries, but quite funny. Um, but yeah, there've been a few over the years. Yeah, we've had a nice puck to the forehead this season. That was a treat to deal with. Um, yeah, yeah, you get a few. If you're squeamish, it's not really the job for you. But luckily, I'm all right with a bit of blood. Puke, kind of on your own. But blood, I'm fine.
Luckily, they don't puke often.
No, I've had to deal with the puker when they're spinaled, and the worst thing is like if you're going to be sick, you have to do it in a certain process because it's like
Oh, yeah.
no, because you can't just rock them because their neck's in a brace. So yeah, you can deal with it. I can deal with it, but afterwards I'm like, ooh, well, yes, I can deal with it up until they've gone, and then yeah, that's it. I'm like, it's not good. I don't do vomit very well, but there we go. It's not my kryptonite.
Who is the biggest diva within the Raiders?
Ah, you can't rat out your teammates. There's a few. No, don't rat out your teammates.
They know who they are.
Oh, I know who they are. And there's a few. But yeah, you don't rat out your mates, do you? Your teamies for being a diva. To be honest, in all fairness, I don't think any of them are when it comes to like coming in and asking for treatment. They're all really, really sweet. They're all really polite, and yeah, they're really cool. Mikey kind of makes me a cup of tea in the old Lives Matter cup, which I always find sweet and I don't know, odd at the same time. What are you trying to say? So yeah, I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, I don't think when it comes to me, any of them are diva-y, to be honest. You just get a list and they just take their turn. Um, so yeah, I'm quite lucky. There's none. I don't get any of that. So with regards to what goes on behind that, there were a few I would imagine, but yeah, I couldn't really name anybody, to be honest. I'm not around it enough.
Um,
You expected me to rat out then, weren't you?
My mum
uh,
was.
Bushy, see?
These are the couple that my mum gave.
Go on.
Who takes the longest to get ready before and after?
Do you know, I couldn't tell you. I'm not in the changing room. I'm in my little room opposite. So I really couldn't tell you. Normally, the goalies, I would probably say, take the longest because they've got the most kit. They do take a wee while and they have their certain rituals and superstitions and the way they get changed. Like, I know Matt used to get changed a certain way, and I'll probably the same for them guys. So I'd probably say the goalies just for the amount of kit, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Sorry, my questions have glitched out and had a freak out.
You have to like just go ad lib and just ask random
I
stuff.
know.
Like, what am I drinking tonight in my wine glass? It's Whispering Angels, Cote de Provence Rosé.
Oh, lovely. Right, here we go. We're back.
Go look. Feel that.
No.
uh, who's the class clown within the group? Is there a joker, prankster, that kind of thing?
Oh, there are quite a few. TJ's funny. Uh, Coops is hilarious. Dewey's actually really funny. He's very dry. Um, I don't know about clowns really, but they're all three of them are quite funny in their little comments and what they get up to. So I'd probably say them guys really. They're all usually the ones that are on the TikToks. Gives you an idea. Watch the TikTok. The ones that are up for that, that's usually the ones. It's yeah, and that's the thing, and they enjoy doing them as well. And I think Ellie's done a great job with the social media, like what she's managed to achieve, like 1 million views over
Yeah.
just mental. So yeah, I think people should give a bit more credit where it's due there, really, to be honest, because I know some people are a little bit stupid on the socials and have a bit of a moan, but it's like, well, it's bringing new fans in, so but yeah, I'd probably say the ones on the TikToks are the ones that are the jokers. To be fair, they like doing stuff.
Are they the ones who always have something to say?
Um, as in, I don't know. I mean, something to say. As in, I mean, I don't know what funny to say or
Or just like the ones that don't shut up?
who are the ones that don't shut up? Probably me, to be fair. I mean, I did get an "I Love Talking" T-shirt from Brad Windybank for a Secret Santa. It's guaranteed. So if anyone that probably talks more than anybody is probably me. So I can't really say anything because I'm the worst.
It's even funnier to get that from Brad.
Oh, isn't it? Like
Like,
this,
no,
yeah,
not talker.
yeah, exactly, like Mr. Incommunicado. But yeah, it was my Secret Santa. He got me golf balls. Yeah, that's always quite a funny time of year, Secret Santa. We've had some good ones in the years. But I actually have that T-shirt, and I do wear it because it's epic. It's got like I heart talking, and I love it. So yeah, probably the one that talks the most is me.
What's your opinion on the music choice in the changing rooms?
I mean, it can be a bit hit and miss. You know, I always remember. I do remember Sean. I do remember the guys playing something. I don't know what it was, and I remember we were in the end room and we were like, "What the is this?" And I remember Sean just going to the change room, going, "Right, is this doing anything for anyone? Because it ain't." And yeah, so that was quite funny. I do remember that, and I it was, but oh mate, it was just like noise. But sometimes the music choices are okay. Actually, they sometimes put like an Ibiza classic on, which obviously I remember the first time round, and I'm like, God, this is like from like 1997. So yeah, a bit of nostalgia kicks in. That's quite cool. I was there the first time, but kids. But yeah, their music's not that bad actually. Polar different to footy. I'd like to say like way different. Their music choices like, but yeah, it's all very cool. They're not bad. They're getting better.
What's one thing you love about the boys?
They're just a good bunch. They're such a tight little team, and their camaraderie is actually quite fun, to be fair. And they're just a really sweet bunch to be around. And I probably shouldn't say that word really because it's a nice hockey team. They're meant to be big and tough. But genuinely, they're really lovely lads. And I see a side of them that obviously the fans don't see. So I'm always quite biased. But yeah, obviously at the end of the day, if they were horrible to work with and awful, I wouldn't have come back. So there you go.
You would have retired the first time.
100%. Well, to be fair, maybe not the first time because, like, the first time I kind of stepped back. I don't even know why I retired. I think I was a bit ill actually, and it was around the time I was really quite poorly because I was with Mose for a while, and I think Jib was there, Anthony Leone. I don't know if he was coach at the time or he was something to do with it. So yeah, I was really quite poorly. I ended up with like pneumonia and sepsis, so that's why I retired the first time. I was actually quite poorly. And then we did a charity day. I think it was around the August 2021, something like that. And in memory of Danny Terry, and Sean Easton was there, and then he messaged to say, "Look, can you come and help us out?" And that's how I'm still here. So that pulled me out of retirement the first time, and then obviously the second time was me just being a bit soppy, really, and not wanting to leave them without anyone. Because I feel sweet.
What makes the Romford community special?
Do you know what? I would probably say the fans. The fans are cool. I mean, the bond in the changing room. There's definitely a bit of an edge, and most teams have that, to be honest with you. But it is a nice little ethic that Romford have. They're a good little group in them little forwards. And the fans are pretty cool, I have to say. As a rival sports therapist travelling, not a fan of all of you, no. Well, I remember when I used to go to the old Rom Valley Way and I was with Dynamos and my good friend Sam Black, or Taylor at the time, she was with Raiders. And yeah, that used to be a fun evening, really. So most of the fans that used to give me loads of crap, like they talk to me all the time now. But yeah, so it used to be, I used to quite like it though, because going there was like a proper bear pit and not many people went there and won. I think if you managed to win a game in Romford at Ron Valley Way, you actually played a bloody good game of hockey because they were a tough team. They used to hit hard, play hard. The fans used to be absolutely brutal. I think you used to have nets then as well, so it was even worse.
Yeah.
And yeah, so similar to like the Invicta Rink, they used to have nets. So yeah, I think it's good, and yeah, the fans are great. I love them. They're cool. Although I do try and hide from most of them because I hide in my little room. I'm not really the most social of butterflies, really. I appear it, but I'm like, people. So yeah, I'd probably say the fans. The fans are good. Golden Blue Army, they're cool. They've kind of adopted me now, so I'm part of it now.
You're stuck.
Definitely.
Stuck, definitely.
You've been claimed.
I have. Afraid so.
What's it like being a goalie mum?
Oh, just like, does that give you an idea? So the biggest tip, any goalie parents listening, like if you're quite new to this, right, you'll be really excited. You'll give a shit about stats and all that stuff. The only thing I will say to you is have like a flask or a thermos, put that in it. If you blow on it now and then, people legitimately think you're drinking coffee. Do you know what? I love it. It's great, and yeah, I'm uber proud watching Matty. I mean, I don't get to see him play that much now because he's not here. But I used to be uber proud watching him play, and he got to train like with the Raiders last year, so that was even mad, really, to see this like little kid. He loved it. He got on really well with him. But yeah, goalies are a bit odd, aren't they? I mean, Katie, tell you, she used to stand behind my son and do his shots. He's just a bit special, bless him. But I think that's the thing. I think you genuinely have to be a bit tapped to be a goalie anyway. Like you're having rubber thrown at your head at like 60, 70 miles an hour. Of which Matt used to try and headbutt out the way, which was even worse. Quite stressful. Obviously, all the forward parents and that will say the word skate a lot. Whereas I used to say myself like, get it, like some complete nut job. So yeah, it's different. It's quite a stressy position. At the end of the day, they feel the loss of the team. So no matter whether they're like under nines up to seniors, they lose that game, that goalie feels responsible. They're the last man between them pipes, So it's sad. So it's always nice when you go and see the players, and no matter what age group, go and give a little goalie a tap. It always is quite cute. So But yeah, goalie mums is cool. Alcohol's cool. It helps.
Gets you through the long days.
Well, it just gets you through the game, if anything. Just something to take the edge off. So, and it's funny. I think most goalie parents like chuckle about it. So, but yeah, if they get a good goalie partner, it's good fun as well. And goalie parents are all equally as mad. So, I've got some good mates within the community. So, yeah, not that I see him really anymore because Matty, he's left us.
Oh, he's left.
He's gone.
What's one thing that would shock fans about being a goalie or player mum?
Oh God. Probably I don't know. Probably the if you think someone's drinking coffee, it's usually not coffee. Well, me it would be. I'm trying to think really. I don't know what would shock fans really. Probably the amount the kit costs. That's yeah, that's like a might have to revisit OnlyFans for feet pictures. Like I'm actually, it's quite funny. I always have a laugh with one of the other parents. Her son plays in and out for Basingstoke, he's a really good goalie. He's super talented, and I'm always laughing about like OnlyFans and putting feet pictures on because the kit is just ridiculous. But any goalie parent knows that, so it's not cheap. So
I
the kit,
see when you're
Even players
selling
have
the
got
stuff
cheap.
on Facebook.
oh, I know, yeah, like secondhand pads are like £1. It's like, woohoo. We only lost £400 on them because Matt changed his mind because he didn't like them after 2 weeks. Cheers, Matt.
That's the one you put up today.
That's the one. And then it's like, although you'll get I get the, oh, I need more sticks, which is great because he's had now 4. And then it'll be like, oh, I've grown again. I need more skates. And I used to know, and he never used to say anything. And like, it's all very sweet when they're like, I didn't want him to be a goalie. I'd like to point this out. I was like, you're not being a sieve ever because it's stupidly priced, and it's stressful, and I'll become an alcoholic. And I'll be broke. And so yeah, I do remember like him, like all the little prices of stuff, like quibbling, going, oh my god, like £200 for leg pads. I don't even think that covers his catcher now, like genuinely. I think his catcher and blocker, yeah, like £1,000 for the pair of them. So yeah, it's silly prices. So the kit is astronomical, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, even the player kit is just ridiculous.
Oh,
My
player kit, and
mum's,
that's the thing; it's all relative. Like you look at the amount that the sticks are. Like
yeah,
skates are like £1,400. I mean, I remember my brother like when he played. I think he paid about £800. You're talking quite a few years ago for like these CCM Ovechkins at the time. So yeah, it's probably the equivalent of like £1,400 for a pair of skates that will last a season.
yeah,
And then the amount
Yeah.
that they put through them, and the amount that they're on them, it kind of makes sense. Whereas like, yeah, the goalie pads and stuff, it's great. Then Matt
yeah.
sends me like these little customized. He keeps sending me custom pad designs at the moment. Don't know what tree he thinks I'm going to go and pick the £3.5 from, but
Yeah, my mum is very glad that Charlie has gone out and got himself a job.
I know he's done well. How is Charlie? Is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing very well. He's got through to second round of England
I
camp.
know. Good. I was really pleased
So
actually, Nathan. I was super chuffed to see them both.
yeah, they're both got through to the second lot. So, but the next two camps are on Friday the 13th,
Oh,
both of them.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, but he's really impressed that he's got through. He's
He should be really proud
yeah,
from where he's come from, and I'm super proud of him. He's done so
yeah.
so well, and
Considering 3 years ago he couldn't skate,
oh,
he's
100%. And you know what? When I remember standing on the bench with him a few times because stupidly I was like, oh, go and stand and do your first aid, and then they didn't know basic stuff. So to see them at this level now is so sweet, and it's so nice to see. I'm really proud of him.
yeah,
He's a good egg.
yeah, he tries, he listens.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you don't always get with
No.
teams
Yeah. He
now.
definitely did
He
listen.
listens.
Some didn't. He did.
Yeah, some don't.
Yeah. Some don't. I was like, what? What do you mean? But yeah. Oh, I'm really proud of him. He's really done well.
Really, really good.
What is the difference between a double away game with juniors compared to the seniors?
Juniors, you just let them sleep, don't you? And you just feed them. Like they've just got this never-ending battery. And you don't have to like strap up, massage, acupuncture, injury assess, and do all that stuff with juniors. Like you just let them go off. They'll play mini hockey till about 4 a.m. They'll get up at 6. Yeah, there's a big difference. So whereas the seniors, yeah, it is hard work. At the end of the day, you're going on a double header. You've got a bus trip that you've got to sit on for X amount of hours, like 6, 7, 8 hours on a bus, and then you've got to try and get rid of bus legs for the players. So it is really tricky. The double away trips, it is a bit of a killer. And then, yeah, like if you end up doing, I don't know, Solway or Leeds on a Sunday, and then you've got to get back to Romford at like a 5 o'clock on Monday morning, and then trying to go to work the next day. Or I think I always remember, like, I think leaving Telford. I think it when Matty was here the year we went to Coventry. Gomersic, he was here, and I remember leaving Telford. It must have been 10 o'clock. And yeah, we just diverted, and every food stuff was shut. McDonald's, funny enough, Just Eat was open, but we couldn't go around the drive-through because we had a coach, but we couldn't walk around the drive-through because we were walking, but we weren't allowed in the shop because it was shut. So obviously we were raging because we were really bloody hungry. And then I always remember after about 3 hours, we ended up in some services in the middle of nowhere, and just raided the shelves of like the Monster Munch and the alcohol because we were just depressed, and the Guinness pasties and whatever sandwich. And I think me and Erin got in at 4:45 in the morning, and we had to play and they had to play the next day. So yeah, that was brutal. It's like, yeah, so it is hard work.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No, it weren't normal because I was meant to sit on the bus, and I remember Matty going, "Don't your clocks change here?" And we were like, "Oh," and it was literally coming up to like 2 o'clock, like 10 to 2, and
no.
it went like 10 to or like 3 o'clock, and we were just like,
still
an hour away from Romford. We were like, no. So yeah, that was a good day. So yeah, the bus trips can be long if you get lots of traffic. Then yes. It's pretty grim. And then you've got to try and work through the body count to try and get them in some sort of state to get out on the ice. So like sometimes we'll have compression boots on the go, and massage and acupuncture and you name it. And I know we try and do a bit of a Harry Potter moment under the tunnel and get a team of players out on the ice.
The minute they walk through the doors, they're fine.
Yeah, like literally, it's like, and the list is, especially this time of year, your list gets longer as well. Like, so yeah, you start treating more bodies this time of year. But part of the job.
Definitely. How did Matty first get into being a goalie? What was his moment?
Actually, like, so I don't really know. So there was quite a funny story around it. So Matty was quite a good little football goalie, like actually pretty decent. And I remember him being on a camp down the road at his old school near our old house. It was about July and it was really raining. And I remember picking him up because we lived like 2 minutes away. I could have walked it. But I thought, well, I'll go and pick him up because it's raining. And he was really, really annoyed because he was like, Mum, we had to like stay out in the rain. Like we weren't even allowed in the hall. He was only about 7. And I'm like, yeah, because it's an outdoor sport, mate. Like you have to play in all sorts. When I was at Charlton, like we used to pray for rain and frost just so we didn't have to stand there because unless you were the first team in a good league, yeah, you're not getting your heated dugouts. You get like a park bench in Lewis that you've got to toss a coin for with the away team. So then I remember getting him back, put him in the bath to warm him up. And I think he put like Mighty Ducks on, and he was already learning to skate like with my brother. And then I remember he just piped up and he was like, I want to be a hockey player. I want to be like Uncle Dan. And I was like, oh, great. So we enrolled him in Victor. It's literally just around the corner, and the coaches and that took him on. So from about September, he started playing. And then after a few weeks, he started diving in front of stuff. And there's a really funny picture, I should have sent it to you, of him. I think it must have been 6 weeks in. And then we had these little diddy training goals like that big. And then there's little Matty at 7, like sitting in front of it, cross-legged, like on his knees, in player kit, protecting this net. It doesn't need protecting. It's a training goal. No one needs to stand there, but Matt did. He guarded his life. And then I always remember, like, Phil Chard, one of the coaches, came up to me. We've laughed about it, actually, because he's like, I bet you hate me. And I went, you're definitely on my list. And I always remember he came up and he went, when you accept that, like, Matty's a netty. And I went, no, not happening. And then by mid-October he was a goalie, and it was that. So
Sounds like the goalie life chose him.
yeah, do you know what they always say? Like goalies are born, and he's definitely a goalie. Like he's tried. He went from forward. He was really good at forward, and then he tried D, launched himself in front of stuff, and I remember a training session, like there was a normal net, and he moved the goalie out of the net using player kit, and he actually did a reasonable job, to be fair, in player kit. Now, funny enough, I do remember. Funny, I've talked about players going to goal. I do remember going up. I think Dewey was with Invicta at the time, and I do distinctly remember we forgot the goalie's kit. And Dewey had to go in for a whole period when we played Milton Keynes in player kit, and he did brilliant. And we actually, I think we still won 6-1. We didn't have a goalie for a whole period. And that was mad.
That's pretty impressive.
So you do get the odd mad player that will be like, oh, go and goal. But so there you go. That's how Matt became a goalie.
That's pretty.
Yeah. What's your proudest moment in Mattie's career so far?
I'd probably say, I mean, there's been a couple. I mean, there's been loads. I think I remember doing, like, when I was on the medical team at England and he was doing South East, and we actually got a nice little picture on the ice. I mean, he was back to there now. I mean, Crossy Tower's open now. So that was a real nice moment. I was really proud to kind of be on the ice with him and share that. You know, we went to Riga with Haringey. That was a really cool experience, and to see him out there. And then out with Raiders, like to see him out with them guys and actually hold his own. I think that was really cool. Like Leishanak used to pull him up. Millsy and Shuey were really good with him. So there's been loads of games, like when he's pulled out the most ridiculous save. I think he did this like Vas Valeski behind the back save against Harv in training. That was quite funny. Off a juice boy. And then probably when he went out to Norway for a camp with NHA, and then they kind of put him on their radar and invited him out to a showcase, and he got an all-star, and then they invited him to Nashville and got another all-star and an MVP, and then they offered him a contract to go and be with them. So that was mega proud because it's something that he earned, you know. So I think it's always difficult that I've been around the sport for so long and knew a few people, so it was stuff that he's earned off his own back, so that made me proud, you know.
Yeah.
In games where he's just played an absolute blinder, you know. So I think anytime he puts on the pads, it always makes me super proud.
Oh.
Mum, he was such a sop.
Was it a hard decision to accept his offer for going away this season?
Yeah, it was actually. I mean, it was. I mean, it's not cheap. But then by the time you add up all your commuting and your food and toll fees and training fees, then it kind of works out about the same from where we are. But he really loved his teammates at Romford. I think if he was ever to come back to the UK, he'd come back to Romford. And I know he still kind of keeps in contact with them and comes up and sees them and stuff. So that was hard. It was kind of hard to keep it quiet as well, because I know like there was someone I had to tell that. So Matt was on a camp in Chelmsford. So how it got out, really, we hadn't really made the decision, but we were like, well, look, if we don't give notice now, you know, it's not fair on them. They need to fill the position for a goalie camp. So we were like, look, Matt's got this opportunity. There's a chance he might not be here. And it was a big decision, you know. I mean, he was 15 when he went away. But he loves it. It's like he's come back a man, to be honest. So he loves it. He was out skating on the lake the other day in the mountains. So I mean, like,
oh wow. Don't tell Charlie that.
But he loves it. He thrives out there. So it was an easy decision on that part because it's what he wants to do. But it was hard that it was a case of you've got to go away on your own, and you're going to leave your teammates that he absolutely adored. That was hard. I think that was the big decision. So that was the tough thing.
They definitely adored him back.
Yeah, I know.
They're
so tight, bless them. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
They're a mad little bunch.
They are. They are. How important, is goalie stats?
Well, I'd say they are quite important, to be honest. I mean, every player gets a little chisel out when they think they've missed an assist or a goal, right? And it does add it up. At the end of the year, I think if you're not counting your shots properly, it does bugger a player's stats up. And I think it could be the difference in sitting last in the stats to like top or mid table. I mean, I count on the bench sometimes, and I'm just like, okay. But then equally, it's a fast game, so it's easy to miss stuff. You've counted shots, so
No,
it's
it is hard.
it is hard.
Sometimes you run out of fingers.
Some people, I think, genuinely count the shot, as in the first shot away. They don't necessarily count the rebounds, and anything that, if it weren't for the goalie stopping it, would go in the net. That's a shot. So yeah, it can be frustrating, to be fair, at times. But hey, it is what it is. Usually, I used to find in juniors that they'd like do really like they'd miss loads of stuff, but heaven forbid if their child like forgot an assist, like wow, yeah, like the earth would move. So I always found that really funny. But yeah, I think at the younger age groups it's not so important. But once they get like 16s, 18s, England, GB, start looking at them, their stats make a difference because like GB, they start looking, I think 85 and up. So if you're missing these guys' stats, and they're running higher than that, but they're not on anything higher than an 85, they won't get looked at. It's as simple as that. And that goes all the way up to seniors as well. Like when we're trying to get senior goalies in, it's really difficult to. A lot of people get like lambasted, and goalies get a bit stick. And it's a case of, well, actually, I think some of them stats are wrong. You're not really seeing the bigger picture. You don't really see the game from stats as well. So yeah, super important.